Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
Man, a couple great things again. And I feel like I needed to have this talk with you because, man, that self-reflection, no doubt it's good, but it can you don't want it to cut too deep where you start to lose your confidence. You start to second guess yourself or the decisions you've made. And so it's your mom, it's my wife that repeatedly is, hey, this is where God wants you to be.
Yep.
And you're putting in the groundwork, and and sometimes you and I are so close to it. Like it's hard to see the success or the growth that's had. And then that's where I think you rely on your assistant coaches. Like, hey, fellas, I'm too deep in this right now. Objectively, where do you think we are?
Yes.
Like, are we moving forward even with an individual player? I asked my assistant the other day, are we moving forward? Are we stuck? Or are we moving back with him? And it was, we are moving forward. Doesn't feel like it to me, but I think that's why you have those people in your life, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's one of the best things, in me taking this job is that I kept Coach Glenn Mayo, and, he'd been here for the last couple of years, and he's worked for so many successful junior college head coaches across the country. And I haven't been in junior college in nearly 15 years. And so coming back to this level and being able to have Glenn, and I mean, they went to a Final Four last year here, and the previous year went to an Elite Eight. And there's no telling how many times last night on the bus ride home, I'm asking him, like, hey, man, like, where do you think we're at? And he said, man, I thought it was a great weekend. And I'm like, why do I not feel that way?
Yeah. Like, why are we watching different games right now?
Yeah. And he's like, man, every coach, and he goes, including me, thinks we play really hard. And I said, yeah. And so I've just all day long as I'm watching the film going, I do see our effort. I just don't see our physicality, in finishing plays. But man, I guess I could have been watching it going, God, we don't even play hard, but we do play hard. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to this film session tonight of just being able to show these guys what they look like. And one of the questions that you had posed to me is talking about, how do you deal with defeat? And I think right now, I mean, the competitive side of all of us, like in those jamborees, you're competitive, you want to win, but at the same time, it's not about winning in scrimmages to me. We wanted to give the majority of our roster a good look and play minutes and see where they're at and what they could do. And I think there was a couple of guys that really improved their stock in terms of proving that they were trustworthy of, more minutes than maybe what I was initially going to give them. If I had just gone into it with what I was going to, hey, we're going to go try to win every game and blah, 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 I don't know if I would have discovered that. And so in losing these games, like, it's not going to be like it would if we were to lose in a regular season. Like right now is just so much of let's find out who we can trust. Cause I tell guys all the time, like, hey, we're going to play the guys we can trust, and I know that all the time, like you think it's a favoritism, or some guys might think that that's the case, but I don't know if trust in your gut and favoritism are the same thing, but you end up playing the guys that you've seen do it every day in practice, and the guys that that you just trust and you're trying to win. And, and so that's what, to me, is what we're trying to find in playing these games and these film sessions and everything that we're doing is, hey, which one of you guys can we hold accountable here tonight? And you'll listen and you'll come back out in the practices to come and next weekend, and you'll address what we weren't good at this weekend, and you'll take it to heart. And, those are the guys that'll end up earning the minutes, and, hopefully we're winning championships with those guys.
Great point on the gut. And I think no doubt that your gut is influenced by trust. Because I know about you, in those big moments when when it's a gut feeling, I don't go to the guys that I'm not sure of what they'll bring. I
Yeah.
think that they call it, oh, gut instinct, whatever. I think though that's built over time and from that trust that you're talking about creating. And another thing you said, maybe JJ Redick put out a video today. I don't know if it was from today. I just watched it today, and it was just a press conference, which he's always pretty entertaining in his press conferences. It says a lot of the things that we all wish we could say, or if we were in that boat. But it was talking about a preseason game, I think against the Suns, and he just said something that I don't think anybody talks about, which was, well, you know what? Like, honestly, the Suns are farther ahead than we are right now. And it was kind of like that moment of, okay, interesting. Why do you say that? And he said, well, they've had 7 more practices than us right now. And their core group has been together for a lot longer than our group has this fall and this summer. So when you put all that together, and on top of the fact that it's preseason and we've got 19 guys that we don't know, but it was just like, that makes a lot of sense. But I don't know, like in your jamboree, in our scrimmage coming up, or if I watch them play pickup, I don't know if I compare, objectively the right way like he did. And I don't know, I just thought I found that helpful for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I find myself trying to draw a fine line and like not trying to make excuses.
Right.
Like I don't want to use that as an out, but sometimes it just is what it is.
It's a fact. You have one guy back, coach. You got one guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to take time for everybody to learn your system. That's not making an excuse of why. Now, like you said, attitude and effort. All right, let's kind of dial that in right now. But the overall execution, the teams that have been together more, man, I don't think it's an excuse. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what, like, I kind of got started with this job on May 1st. The portal had been open for a month and a half. And there's times where I tell myself, and then, like I said, wasn't like there was a schedule that was done and, 6 players that were in here, part of that Final Four team last year that were waiting on me to get in here. And so I sometimes have to remind myself that we are where we are and just don't panic, but also just understanding when to pivot and when to, because I've tried really hard to adopt and try to get a foundation put in. And I think we went this weekend and we learned some things. Like if you look at our team lineup wise, we're really big. I mean, everybody that sees us play says, hey, y'all look like a mid-major plus Division I team. And we're big, we're long. But man, when we got into that jamboree this weekend, there's a lot of junior college teams that are playing 5, 6'6" and under players, and they're running 5 out and they're zooming around doing all kinds of stuff. And we really struggled to guard the bounce. And now we did have some good shot blocking because we do have some bigger bodies. But anyway, man, I'm driving home last night going, we need to have 2 different lineups, that one that can play small ball and one that can go big. And that way, I always been told that a good dancer can dance fast, he can dance slow, and he can dance a lot of different varieties. He can 2-step or he can tango. And so I think that same for us. I think that was such an eye opener for us this weekend. And so in my mind, a little bit, it's like, I love them rugged power forwards that rebound and dominate. And, you mentioned Coach Sampson a minute ago. They're really good friends of mine. Kellen and I worked together at Stephen
Nice.
F. Austin, and we've been closest of friends since. And every summer I go down and spend time with them and the family. And man, I just love how tough and rugged and, just their culture and everything that they do. And so I even try to recruit like them and try to run the same offense and defense and everything. Man, seeing the junior college style of play this weekend was like, might have to pivot. So that's where my mind is headed towards a little bit in terms of getting our culture in place. But then as we move forward, making sure our lineups are where we can be a good dancer, as I said before, fast, slow, however we need to.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.